Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are in tune to the KnoitAllz podcast, and you got your player partners here. My man, Big G. What's up, Big G? How you doing, man?
Man, what's cracking lacking, man? It seems like it's been a minute before we talk some sports stuff, but I'm ready to get it in, man.
Ready to get it in, man. And we're missing our teammate, Big Tate. You're feeling under the weather, man. Hope you get better, man. Definitely sending some love and shout outs there. I know he's watching in TV land. Definitely we're gonna get this whole thing and this train moving. We've got a lot to talk about today, G man. A whole lot. But before we get into it, make sure that you mash that like button on Facebook. Hit that smash that subscribe button so that every time that we go live, and when we go live, you're definitely ready to check us out and you'll get that notification, man. But before we get into what we're getting into today, man, let's definitely get into this. And you are in tune to the KnoitAllz podcast, man. And look, gee, let's just jump right into this, man. I've got to jump right into it. Bro, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the Lakers schedule, man. I mean, we want to talk Power Five definitely after the trade deadline, and we're gonna get into that. But man, dude, I'm looking at the Lakers schedule, and it's really scary, man. It's scary coming down at the end. They are the number 9 seed, right? The
Yeah,
number 9 seed, right?
yep.
And there's only 10 that's gonna make it in. Only
Well,
10.
only 8 because the 7 through 10 got to do a play-in game. But yeah, they can get on a play-in maybe.
Maybe. I mean, it's too many vets for them not to put it together. And you know what I mean. Well, if they get in, I do believe they'll be in, right?
Okay, all right,
But look at their schedule. They got 23 games remaining. 23, right?
right,
They have the Raptors twice.
right.
Okay, out of the Raptors twice, I think the Raptors get one of those games.
Yeah, it's a
What do
split.
you think?
I would call a split.
You call it split, yeah.
Yeah,
They've got the Wizards twice. They're gonna beat them twice.
yeah.
They ain't got enough. The Wizards ain't got enough.
Three
They
and
have the
one
Pelicans twice. The
split.
Pelicans actually have a better record than they do. So I'm tending to believe that the Pelicans are actually, up in the standings. So they're like,
Well, the Pelicans are 3 games behind the Lakers, but
oh, that's right. That's right. It
The
wasn't the Pelicans.
Pelicans have just got C.J. McCullough and got Brandon Ingram back 100% healthy. So I would
So
give that a split.
yeah, that's a split. Okay.
Yeah.
So then they have Golden State.
Loss,
They got Utah.
loss,
They got Denver.
loss,
They have Tate's Cleveland team.
loss,
Wow. They've got Philadelphia.
loss,
They have Minnesota.
loss.
Mm. Houston is a win. Houston's a
Yeah,
win. I think they're
that's
gonna win.
they're 5-12 at this point. With 23, they only got 8 left. Who they got?
Tate said we look like we're down a genius. He said we look like that we're down a genius.
Nah. I mean, we're calling it what it is. I mean, realistically, if you talk about the Lakers' last 23 games,
Listen, hold up.
they can easily go 10-13.
I'm not even done yet. I'm not even
Right.
done. They've got the Spurs who's trying to fight to get into a spot.
They'll beat San Antonio.
They got the Clippers who they lost to by about 3 last night already. Right?
Yeah, they'll beat them too. They'll beat the Clippers they'll beat them.
They have the Suns,
Loss.
and then they have the Timberwolves.
Right.
Again.
That lost. They're looking at 10-13, 9-14 in the face. And I don't know if they're going to be good enough, if that record's going to be good enough to secure them a playoff spot. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, for those that don't know and believe, the Los Angeles Lakers is in big time trouble. Right? Big time trouble to make the playoff. B-Dirt said addiction by subtraction with Tate. That's hilarious. But the Lakers is in big time trouble, man. I mean, with Anthony Davis's health, he could be there or not be there. I mean, LeBron can only put the superhero cape on so many times.
So many times.
Even if they do get in the playoffs, I mean, they're one and done. They might win the play-in game and get an 8 or 9 seed, but I don't care who they got to play out of Golden State, out of Phoenix, out of Utah or Memphis. They're out of here. You know, it doesn't matter who they play out of those top 4 teams. So the Lakers got some.
You think they can't beat Memphis in a 5 to 7 game series?
Absolutely not. They're out of here. It's 7 game series. They're out. Memphis 7 game series 4-1 to the crib. 4-1 to the crib. Yeah, LA stands no chance of beating the top 4 seeds in the West. They can't beat Utah. They can't beat Memphis. They can't beat Golden State, and they can't beat Phoenix. And really, they don't want no smoke with the Denver Nuggets either. So LA, if they get in, and that's a strong if, they realistically could be one and done. And they got problems in La La Land because they got to do something to fix that roster. And I've been calling for it. Trade Anthony Davis, man. You got to trade him. That's the only way you're going to keep Bron. Because I'm telling you right now, Bron is walking after. If they go one and done this year again in the playoffs, LeBron is walking after. Not this year going into it, but the year after, LeBron James is out of there. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's kind of hard to see because Bron doesn't want to build the team again. You know, that's evident. That's why, you know, we're trading away because people are saying Bron breaks teams up and you know, no, Bron wants to win right now. So Bron takes teams that he can win with right now. That's Bron's whole MO. So because of that, you know, there's a lot of the trades are getting, but I mean, I hear what Tate is saying that got more value if you trade Bron. Man, I think you get more value out of Anthony Davis to be at this point.
The issue is LeBron has a no trade clause in his contract. LeBron will never get traded. LeBron will walk away. So LeBron has this season and next season remaining on his contract, right? So LeBron's just not going to get traded and go to some scrub team because they're going to get value for him. LeBron has always put himself in a position where he's going to dictate the pace. So LeBron's not just going to go to you know, some scrubs like I said. Bron's going to say where he want to go. So the issue is if you want to keep Bron, you got to trade AD. And now a lot of fans don't want to hear that. They think that's controversial and all whatever else. But who are you going to trade? The Over the Hill gang? Anybody left on the Over the Hill gang that's on LA's current roster? They have no value. You're going to trade Malik Monk and get something in Malik Monk? No. They have nobody that's really a tradable asset or piece to move them forward as a franchise, except for Anthony Davis. So LA's got to make a decision. You know, Bron's done this before. This is not unusual. This is Bron's MO. He wants to win now, so he brings in his crew of guys that can win. But the issue is LA's strapped.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, Tate. He's saying all moves with Bron are win now moves. Young talent, draft picks, be out of here. They, you know, definitely. You know, that's not something that, you know, he's looking to do. He's not looking to rebuild until he actually goes to play with Bronny. And when he goes to play with Bronny, at that point, all bets is off because he don't really care where he's playing at that point. Russ's contract is expiring next year. Yeah, absolutely.
Off the books and out of there. They should have traded him at the deadline, but they couldn't find no takers for it.
Well, somebody had to take that contract. Who was going to take that contract, Big G?
I'd have traded him. John Wall head up. I think the thing sizzled because LA looked at what they couldn't get out of it because their contracts are both basically the same. But I think John Wall helps them a whole lot more than Russell Westbrook helps them. Russell Westbrook is a basket case right now as far as basketball play on the court. He's gone mentally.
What
He couldn't deal with it. Go ahead.
He hasn't learned how to play with LeBron. You've got to learn how to play with LeBron. LeBron is the main fixture there. You're not. So, go to your assist game. Drive and kick. But Russ don't want to do that. Russ likes calling his own number. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? You know how when you seen the meme where he was shooting and said Kobe, Dave Chappelle was like Kobe. No, Russ say his own name when he shoot it. Russie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, he's on the same level of a Kyrie Irving as far as an introverted player with the league, right? So Russie I always will believe it's always about Russie. I don't care if you had Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan on this team. It's still all about Russie and only Russie. So if you looked at the value that they could have got for John Wall, and I heard some of those talks from what I was told stalled out because LeBron wasn't willing to play with John Wall about some old beef. But, who knows? We're not in those rooms. But the issue is they have no tradable pieces. So
none.
And Bron is going to walk, ladies and gentlemen. We know for a fact. Bron's walking.
Right there.
Yeah, wherever Bronny goes to college, his first year, Bron will play in that state. And wherever Bronny plays his first year in the league.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all, man. I don't believe that LeBron's gonna move twice. I think he's gonna hold on and make that move once. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he moves to another place twice. B-Dirt said he would have traded Russ for a bottle of bourbon.
yeah, I would have too. Hey, I'd have traded him for a couple pair of Under Armour tennis shoes and a couple warm-up outfits. I would have traded him for because Russ is
in the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, they traded him for a washing machine. They could have traded him for a washing machine. They could have got him off for an appliance. They need to get him off for real, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely
for real.
Something. I mean, so we're looking at this Power Five, Power Five after the trade deadline. I'm just gonna tell you something, man. I'm looking at Philly right now, and Philly look good, man. You're looking at James, and he looks ready to play again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He looks happy, and him and Embiid are happy together. I mean, definitely. Hey, man, this could be this man. Whoa.
Well, I mean, he had a triple-double today against my beloved Knicks. I think he hit it for 26, 10, and 12. So he was out there banging them. But the issue is that how much better does he not just make Embiid, but Terrence Maxey, right? Because Maxey has been playing really the last couple of games since Harden's got there. And Harris hasn't found his niche yet with Harden, which once Harris finds his niche, man, Philly's gonna be hard to beat. But I'm really, really excited just about this year's playoffs because when you start talking about Power Five in both conferences, I mean, I think both conferences are 6 teams deep that could win the NBA title. That's just my opinion. I think both 6 teams in the East or the West could win it.
Let's go through that. Let's name off the Power Five. Go ahead, man.
Right. So if I start in the East, my top 5 teams. I'm going to start with the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to go second with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to go third with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to go fourth with the Miami Heat. And I got a tie for fifth between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. It's based on the health of the Bulls. But the Cavs are coming, and they're coming strong. I know they had a little hiccup the other day because Garland wasn't playing, and I think the big guy, Allen, wasn't playing. But I think Cleveland is a legitimate team that could win at least one playoff series if possible, too. So if I go my top 5 in that East.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not It's not often that we agree, but I mean, I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's it. That you can
Yeah.
wrap that in a bow, and those are the top 5, top 6 teams in the East, and those teams will battle it out for an NBA championship or a chance to win the NBA championship.
But
You know,
it could change as far as top seed. It could change for top seed if Ben Simmons
well,
pans out and if they lift the sanction for Kyrie to be able to play in Brooklyn.
top
That could
seed,
change
yeah, but
tremendously.
top seed. But if we're looking at that Power 5, man, I mean,
Yeah.
literally, the Bucks are still strong, man. I mean, you can't wheel them out. You can't say, oh no, they're not going to do it. They found a way last year. They can still find a way this year. And I mean,
playoff basketball is played inside out.
yeah,
And I think that they have one of the most unstoppable forces from an inside-out basketball game, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, when the money's on the line, Giannis is getting his big tall behind on that block, and he's going to drive and penetrate. He's going straight to the cup, right?
Yeah, he gonna do you raggedy. That is what it is. Giannis come to play every night. I don't care if it's a pickup game. You know what I'm saying? He coming to play. I don't care if y'all playing for some tic tacs and some annihilators. Giannis is coming to play. That's how he gets down. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how he gets down.
Philadelphia is an inside-out team. Now that you got Embiid and Harden, they're inside out. They're going to play Embiid first, and
But with Embiid though, Big G, think about it. With Embiid, they're not just inside out, sir. Embiid can take you outside and go in. He can tear your behind up from the outside as well. So you got to have a big who's able to move. You know what I'm saying? So that gets scary when, like you said, Tobias Harris actually gets into his role. That gets super scary. That gets scary, right? And then you look at the Nets, and if the Nets all gel together, Curry, Kyrie, which they played background together in college. You know what I'm saying? They played guard together at Duke. I mean, you put them two together and let them start going buck bonanzas, and then KD. Oh my God! I mean, listen.
Right. You got Andre Drummond, Gordon Dragic, Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Patty Mills. You got some hitters over there outside of KD. And outside of Steph,
Joe is invisible in the playoffs. I mean, Joe just turns to the invisible man in the playoffs. We don't care nothing about Joe.
It's one thing when you're a player and the expectation is there. It's another thing when the expectation is not there. So how much more valuable is a guy like Joe Harris or a guy like Blake Griffin, who is not going to be expected to carry anything based on what they now have from an offensive talent standpoint? All they got to do is give me a game where they get 10 to 12 points and 6 to 7 rebounds and play solid D. Now they become, playoff factors. If you remember, that was the formula that Golden State Warriors had when you started going 7, 8, 9 on the bench. And you started talking about Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston, who at points during their career was like a focal point. But now when they were the 7th, 8th, and 9th guy coming off the bench, man, that made all the difference in the world. So Brooklyn could do some of the same stuff, based on their health and if they're able to just get it together.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, that's what you got. So let's check out the West, man. Let's check out the West. If we're looking at the West, man, who you got in your top 6 seeds in the West? Or top 5 seeds in the West?
My daughter's gonna be hostile at me, man, when I make this first pick, man, because she's a diehard Phoenix Suns fan, man. Diehard. I mean, my daughter's been rocking with Phoenix for a minute. So, but I'm going Golden State Warriors 1. And the reason why is because Chris Paul, 6 to 8 weeks, we don't know what's happening. And I don't think them guys can do it without Paul. But with Paul, they'd be 1. So I'm going Golden State 1, Phoenix 2. I'm going Memphis at 3, Utah at 4, and the Denver Nuggets at 5. That's my power 5 for the West. I think any of those teams could get hot, win a bunch of series, and look up and be in the finals. Any of them. What you think, Mod?
I'm sitting here and I'm trying to find some way to argue, but I can't. I think that's real solid when you start to think about it and you start doing the math in your head. There's nobody even who could come from. I mean, the Mavericks. I love the Mavericks. I want to see the Mavericks come, but I mean, they're a couple pieces away for me. If we start talking about them in contention for it all, the Mavericks are a couple pieces away. But those five that you said, I definitely agree with. You got some of the best players in the West on those teams, and we got to figure out what's going to happen with Chris Paul. That is so crucial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely so crucial. And take to your point, you're correct. Dallas did beat Utah. You know what I'm saying? And I mean the Mavericks, like I said, I just still feel like the Mavericks are a couple pieces away. I love the Mavericks. I just feel like they're a couple. I mean, Luka's phenomenal, but I just feel like
Dallas' second option is Dinwiddie, right? I mean that's all I'm saying. When you really look at the Dallas Mavericks team, when they need a bucket and they're coming up the floor, their second option is Dinwiddie. So Luka's one, Dinwiddie's two. Yeah, but man, when the playoff it gets tight. It gets tight when playoff basketball starts happening. So you got Mike Conley on Dinwiddie, and you got Donovan Mitchell on Luka when the money is on the line, right? Now I'm not counting Gobert because he seems to disappear even more so in the playoffs. But I think Utah's got enough to win the first round series.
I mean, Tate said Utah playoff chokers, regular season contenders.
It's true. Hey, look, I'm not putting them in our conference finals. You can get up out of here with that.
Yeah,
but I'm saying that they're better than the Dallas Mavericks. I would put them as a 5 seed. But the team you don't want to play is Memphis. You don't want to play Memphis.
You want no parts of Memphis. You want no parts of Memphis. Memphis is ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Memphis is ready. Did you see Ja the other night? Man, what is wrong with Ja? What is wrong with
you mean as far as him getting injured, or is how good of a player he's actually turning into be? Is that what you're saying? How good
of a player he is. Did you see the 360? Did you see the 360, man?
Ja has this, and this was a hot take I did the other day with my daughters, right? And my daughter's fiancés and boyfriends. I said that Giannis is a great player, and there's a couple of other young players. But I said that Ja Morant. Oh man, listen. Ja Morant has the potential to be the best player in the NBA in 4 years.
Wow.
In 4 years, Ja Morant could be the best player in the league. He has that much potential as a basketball player. This kid is on a trajectory, and he's going like this. It's not like he's plateaued. He's just getting better and better and better. And you got to remember, he's only 21 years old. He's only 21. And in 4 years, could he be better than Giannis? Because KD will be on his decline. LeBron will probably be out of the league at that point. So who's going to carry the mantle? I really do. They did it at the 75 tribute. They lined up who they thought the next ones was going to be, and Ja was in that list. He was one. Matter of fact, he was the first one that held the mic.
Ja was definitely on that list. Ja was definitely on the list. I mean, sheesh. I mean, Ja's exciting to watch, but you got to think about this, man. That man plays above the rim. He plays, I mean, and at some point, high flyers like that, their game begins to start toppling off if they don't put something new in their game. But he seems to have it all, man. He reminds me a lot of Allen Iverson.
I promise you I was going to say that. I was going to say he's Allen Iverson 2.0. That's what I was going to say. And the NBA would have – can you imagine Allen Iverson is 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Because Allen Iverson was like 6 foot tall, 6'1", but super athletic, long arms, could jump out the gym and give you buckets.
Yeah,
Ja is that.
Right on that tape because he stayed longer in college. So you're definitely right about Ja's age. Man, listen, he's lightning quick as a cat. If you even put their stats up to each other, if you put Allen Iverson's stats right next to Ja's stats, you'll see those stats are very similar. They're scorers and they scoring potential, and the way that they score is just ridiculous.
So
They're
I just fact checked tape. John Morant just turned 22 years old. He just had a birthday a couple of weeks ago. He was 21 years old and just turned 22. He's a baby.
I know he stayed in college. What was it, 3 4 years? He was in college for a
No,
while.
no. John Morant played 1 year in college and went pro.
You sure?
Uh,
We
he's
need to check that. We
he's
definitely need to
22
check that. I
years
think he
old.
played
He's
2 years
22.
in college, 2 3
No,
years
he's
in college, didn't
no,
he?
no. John went to a very small school. He played. He might have played two, but I know for a fact. I just fact checked. The boy, 22 years old, and he ain't had a birthday too much long ago. He's a baby. John's really a little kid when you come down to it. He's 22.
Still, let's put it like this, man. Ja is just he's one of those players that I think if he does continue his trajectory upward, he will be. I can't say that he'll be the one to take the mantle, but I can definitely say that he's going to be, one of them that's in talk of the league's greats
So
at that point.
let me ask you a question, Ma. What age do you think or feel that an
Murray State, he
NBA
played 3
player?
years. Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
I
okay.
was right.
What age do you think that an NBA player hits their prime? Now, based on how kids come into the league at 18, 19 years old, what age do you really feel that they hit their prime?
If they come in at 18, 19, you're seeing kids hit their prime right around 23, 24. If you come in, a little bit like Ja, he came in a little bit more developed. Those guys hit their prime, they hit the ground running fast. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because they
Okay.
ready. You know what I'm saying? They ready. But B Dirt said 27 to 31.
Prime?
Tate said 27 to 29. For
Yeah.
me, I'm gonna disagree with both of y'all. You're gonna see the people hit their stride right around their third, fourth year in the league because it's a transition period. It's almost like an offensive lineman. You gotta
Yeah.
think about what offensive linemen in the NFL. The game's faster. The people are moving. They're stronger. You know what I mean? So they got to catch their bearings. And the ones who catch it fast are good for a long time. And I think it's the same kind of thing with a kid in the league. If they've been playing this competition for a minute, like Luka's young, he's been playing this type of competition for a minute. So coming into the league, it wasn't that big of a transition for him, right? And he's just now starting to hit a stride. Same thing, I think around 23, 25 is when they catching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're going to get the best of them.
My personal opinion is I think prime years are between 25 and 29. I really do believe that's when you're going to see when you're going to see them just dominate. I mean, Ja's already in a position, sort of like Giannis, where they're before that 25 clip, and they just killing everybody, right? So but if you from 25 to 29, if you're going to get championships and MVPs and all that other stuff that's going to put you up there with the greats, that's when you see it. And so that's why I'm really super excited about Ja, because I'm like, man, I think Memphis has got a piece or two that you can add along with his development as a player, that sky's the limit for the Memphis Grizzlies, man.
Yeah, Tate says they definitely get better, but prime is 27, 29 for him. And he said Luka will be better at 28 than he is now.
I agree.
I think Luka's game will be more rounded.
Yeah.
But his athleticism, the way that he is, I mean, shoot.
You got to get Luka help, man. The issue in Dallas is they can't get him help. Now he's got a super long-term contract. I looked it up the other day. It was ridiculous how much money the Mavericks are paying him, right? But like, are they going to ever get him help ever? I mean, he's on that broad trajectory where he ain't getting nobody to play with him. There's not been one. Please, Porzingis, that was trash down there, man. Tim Hardaway Jr., come on, man. You got to if this kid is a top 5 talent in the league, you got to put pieces around him, man. And I don't understand what the management is doing in Dallas. I think they tried to get some free agents, but, is Dallas a landing spot? It should be, because Texas don't pay the taxes and all whatever else. But, man, like, look, you got to get Luka help, because he can't beat Denver. I don't think he can beat Utah. He can't beat Phoenix, and he can't beat Golden State and Memphis. So I mean, he's one and done, maybe two and done. He can't get to the Western Conference Finals, and he definitely can't get to the chip. They got to put pieces up around him. They sort of went through the same thing with Nowitzki. You know, they ended up putting Jason Terry and Jason Kidd and Sean Marion. They put players around him finally to give him a shot to get a chip. You know, but they got to do something down there in Dallas because Luka's a one-man show right now, man. He ain't got no help.
LeBron left Miami in 2014, right? LeBron is 37 right now. So
I'm not sure. I got to check that.
LeBron's 37, so 14, that's 8 years, right? So we're looking at, you know, LeBron being 29, 28. And a lot of people will agree that LeBron's best years were in Miami. Tate even said it, you know, best years being in Miami. I would agree. I'd agree LeBron's his best years were when he was in Miami. So 27, 20, I can rock with it. I can rock with it. Although I feel like between 23 to 25 is when you start becoming a man in the league. You become a problem. You know what I'm saying? In the league around that age, because you got your older man testosterone kicking in, and you still have access to your young man talent, and that's a deadly combination. You know what I'm saying? Because as an older man.
But outside of Luka and Ja, who is going to be in 3-4 years going to be running with him? I don't see nobody in 3-4 years. That's your top two in 3-4 years.
How old is Giannis?
Giannis is like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, Giannis still be there.
Yeah, but he'll either be plateaued or start to go like this, right? He's either gonna hit the stride and go down. These jokers are still gonna be going like this.
Evan Mobley, I agree too.
Oh yeah, Tate. Yeah, I don't want to shortchange that joker. Cleveland did an outstanding job with rebuilding their franchise after LeBron, and they already have a bunch of talent up around him. So Evan Mobley's not going to keep doing everything. And see, that's my fear with Luka. Luka don't have talent around him, so he's got to carry the show. Mobley got talent around him. Ja got talent around him.
Young said Phoenix is still the guard. He's still young.
Booker,
he's still relatively young.
But I think in 4 years he'll be done plateaued out. They got pieces around him.
And DeAndre Ayton is still pretty young. You know what I'm saying?
Baby. Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a baby. I mean, so you got some young dogs still in the league now. You got some young killers in the league that's ready. Definitely. Yeah. So man, outside of the Power Five, we saw in college basketball, man, upset weekend this weekend, man. I mean,
bananas.
Everybody was losing. Was losing. So let's talk about the games. But before we even get in that, I just want y'all to realize why this makes news for me. The reason why this makes news for me is this, right? When you think about it, you can't guess teams when we start getting into the NCAA's March Madness. You're not going to be able to just sit and pick a team by a name. You're going to have to know that it's upset anytime you get on. It's really the tournament this year. If you win it, you deserved it. You know what I'm saying? When you win the tournament this year, you won it because you deserved it. There's so much parity. St. Mary's popped Gonzaga, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Who St. Mary's got? Who they got? They beating Gonzaga. I don't get it. I don't even know. I haven't even watched them this season, right?
Right.
Kansas got popped. Baylor popped them. You know, it's one of those things where, like I said, man, honestly, Tech got popped. You know, Tennessee popped Auburn. You know, it's one of them things where I'm just saying to you, it's not a done deal until it's done.
Right, Kentucky got popped, and they're normally traditionally a powerhouse. You know,
honestly, G, at this point, man, really, I really want to say, man, listen, it can get out of hand. This is gonna be. Listen to me, KnoitAllz fans. Hear me and hear me well. I ain't got a burner. This ain't a burner, but I'm gonna tell you guys, Pay attention. March Madness. I remember when people would take off work, people would, have TVs at work, and you were watching it because it was so much drama and there was so many teams getting upset. This is that year. This is one of those years where you see the best college basketball that you've ever seen in your whole entire life. These teams out here, for real, the parity level because of all of the COVID years, the extra COVID years, and the transfer portal and kids shuffling around. This year is gonna make the NCAA playoffs so much more exciting. March Madness this year is going to be exciting because of this whole thing that we got going on in college basketball, this parity that we have. You're going to see some real deal Holyfield type games. I mean, down to the wire type nail biter games. It's really going to be like that.
I think, and I think also to sort of piggyback off of what you were saying too, Ma, is that people need to pay attention to the conference tournaments this year. Right? I think there's going to be a lot said during the conference tournaments and about who finishes in first and second place in those conference tournaments. Because you're going to see not only depth with players and teams, but who could put it together in a little short time period and make a run. Right? So I'm looking for the parity that's going to exist in the conference tournaments. I saw a thing the other day and they were talking about 8 or 9 Big Ten teams might get in the NCAA tournament. I was like, wow, are you serious? Even after the end of the conference tournament, you're still going to get 8 or 9 Big Ten teams in the tournament? Oh, they're going to go at it. And see, and that's when you start talking about like any given game, because even more so, just as much as with the parity with the teams, there's parity with the players. There's no clear-cut number one player in college basketball. I mean, you got Chet out in Gonzaga. You got the kid down in Duke. You got that kid, this baby KD over there in Auburn. There's a nice kid that plays in Kentucky. But overall, there's not really the guy who you say, oh, he's the number one.
Yeah, he's the one. There's no one that you can kind of brand. And you're talking about Chet, but you're forgetting about there's another youngster they got on that team that's a phenom. He's a killer. He was there last year.
He'll go somewhere in the top 15, but Chet, based on, you got to remember, Chet reclassed. A lot of people don't realize that he reclassed up. So he's supposed to be a senior in high school this year. This kid is a freshman in college and is going to go pro, and he just now turned 18 years old. So when you're talking about, he's as skinny as a string bean, but his overall ability to pass, shoot, dribble, all the stuff, he looks like a guard, but then you got to stop and say, wait a minute, he's 7'1". So he doesn't have a body. He doesn't have a body, but he's got the skill set.
Yeah, Chet ain't ready for the NBA. There's some big bodies in the NBA that'll push him around for real from night to night, and that'll take that personal. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, I've seen him get moved around in college a little bit.
But Ma, let me ask you this. What if he ends up on a team that's already got a bunch of young talent, like the Orlando Magic, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, like the Houston Rockets, or even like the Cavs, and they got a bunch of young guys already there. And now he doesn't have to carry the mantle, and he just works on his game to get bigger and stronger. He might come in the league his first year getting 12 to 14 points, maybe 5, 6 rebounds, a couple assists. But within 3 years, he's a 25-point scorer because he's developed his man body. So that's why I'm like,
you think he'll develop out like Giannis? Because Giannis was stringy like that when he first came into the league. But I don't know. I don't know that I could say that with Chet.
Right, more like KD. KD's still skinny as a string bean, but he's strong. KD, he might be skinny, but he's strong. Chet reminds me a lot of, and this is gonna tell our age. But remember Tyson Chandler? Remember when Tyson Chandler and everybody was talking about him and Eddie Curry? Tyson was skinny, man. He wasn't big.
Game wise, maybe body wise, but not game wise.
Oh, Chet game is phenomenal. Chet is a guard.
His game is nice. Chet's game is nice. So this is kind of a sidebar, Big G. I'm sitting here and I'm looking and I'm thinking, because we were talking about recruits, and I
Yeah.
was thinking about Hansel. What's Hansel's last name?
Where does he play?
I gotta think. Hansel Emmanuel. Um,
Okay.
and he has one arm. He
Yeah.
has one arm high school basketball phenom.
Right. Right.
Um, he got an offer from Penny to play down there in Memphis,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the first college offer he got. And I'm thinking to myself, man, how wonderful would it be to see him succeed in college basketball?
Right.
You know what I mean? How wonderful it would to see him succeed on the next level. Because I mean, all odds are against him. When we
Right.
start thinking, in a professional game, you literally gotta have two hands. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Especially in
I'm
basketball. Especially in
yeah,
basketball.
especially basketball. Football, you
Yeah.
get around it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, and we had one with Shaquille. Is it Shaquille Griffin?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Griffin twins. Yeah. He
yeah,
doesn't have a hand. He doesn't have a hand. He's got an
yeah. He don't
arm.
have a hand, but he
Yeah.
has an arm. He playing football.
Right.
And Hansel Emmanuel is a dog. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen him come down and with one hand just did wham. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, and he
And
trains
he's a
harder than
big kid too. He's not short. He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's not no little guy, man. He's a big kid.
yeah, he trains harder than anybody that I've seen. I just really want to see him get a shot, man. I
Right.
mean, I was looking at it, and I just want to see him. I want to see him get a shot. I want to see him get a shot. How good would it feel to see? I mean, against all odds, to see him get a shot.
I would love to see him,
And he's
like you
six
said,
five.
just six
He's
five,
six
six
five.
six. Yeah, 6'5", 6'6". So yeah, he's legit. He's not no little kid. So he legitimately could play at a Division I level. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar status and all the
Son,
instantaneous YouTube stuff he's got, but he'll
I
get a shot to
mean,
play at a Division I level. He will.
no, he's gonna. I mean, Penny gave him an offer. Penny offered
Right.
him, and I mean, so he's gonna get a shot. But I want to see him succeed. I mean, know it all, listeners. How dope would it be for you to see Hansel Emmanuel? Look him up, Google him, see him get a shot in college basketball, and you see him out there getting it in March Madness. You know what I mean? With one
I
arm.
I saw a YouTube tape 2 weeks ago on that kid, and I mean, like he went down and dunked. They went back down, and the other team they played against got a dunk. He came back down and dunked. Then he stole the ball and dunked it again. And then they went down and got a score, and he came back down and hit a three. So I was like, he had three dunks and a three in like a 2-minute period, 2 minute section. And what I'm telling you, it was like he was giving them, he looked like a pro. I was like, this kid, now I don't know the competition he was playing against, but when I'm telling you, and the dunks was ridiculous. It wasn't like it was like some little soft, like he was cocking that bad baby. I was like, this kid is unbelievable.
Now the
For
boy
him to
got
have
mega
one
hot.
arm,
He
yeah,
got helium in his calves. He got
yeah,
mega hot, man. And I mean,
yeah,
it's just like wow. I'm just thinking, man, wow. Like I want to see him get an opportunity. Social media has done him justice because I think that they've allowed a lot of people to know about him. He is
yeah,
playing a pretty tough competition. He's not playing just scrubs. I know this for sure.
yeah.
And he's really getting busy against the top tier competition. He's really getting busy against top tier. And speaking of, recruits and top tier competition, we were talking about Bronny earlier. Bronny's starting to make a move, and you see Bronny's body define. I hope for Bronny's sake, he's not stop. It's not going to stop growing, right? When you see people their bodies start catching up and leveling out. When you see kids like that, it's normally a sign that that they're about to stop growing, right? Because they're
Well, he's
catching
like
up
he's
with
what
their feet and their legs.
He's 6'3", 185, 190 right now.
Yeah, he's
So
6'3".
6'3", 185, 190. So I could maybe 6'4", maybe 6'5", about 200 pounds. That's a nice size. 6'4", 205. Nice size body. But if
I
he
need.
jumps to 6'5", he definitely's got it.
Yeah, he's 6'5". He's ready. 6'5". I think he'll be ready.
Yeah,
If he slows down and this is it for him,
yeah.
I don't
Well, he's
know,
a
man.
guard. He's a guard. I mean, he's. It's not like he's Garland size. He's Steph Curry size. He's a guard. He's actually going to play a lot of point guard. He's not a shooter. So he's right in the right range for a point guard. 6'3", 6'4", and because he has super athletic ability too. Don't get it twisted. Bronny got hops. He's not like
He's a freak
like
athlete.
yeah.
He's a freak
Bronny can
athlete.
jump out the gym.
He got some of that DNA from his dad. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
And that DNA need to be bottled and sold. So I mean, real talk. Yeah, I mean, definitely, he got animal DNA. So I
Right.
mean, when we look at it, bro, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, man, I want to see Bronny get a couple more inches, and I definitely want to see Hansel get a shot. To me,
Yeah.
that would be so breathtaking to see this young man get a shot. And then I mean, encouraging everybody else who has some type of a challenge to get into the league, whether you have both your hands and your coach don't like you, and
Yeah.
you come up from the bottom, or you have some type of defect that you got to deal with. That just shows you, man, you can achieve anything you want as long as you're
Right.
willing to pay the price for it, because you got to
Right.
pay the price. That's
Right.
part of it. You got to pay the
Right.
price. So,
Right.
man, let's talk about the NFL. We have the combine coming, man. We have the NFL combine coming, and dude, I'm excited, man. I think that there are some people who can literally help themselves in the combine. My number one pick in this thing, and I know you have a more extensive list on this, Big G. Which Tate was here. Tate, if you're listening, which I know you are, give me your 3 players who can really help themselves in the combine. B Dirt, why don't you give me 2 that can hurt themselves in the playoffs? I mean, in the combine. But I think one player is the Liberty quarterback. I think he can really help his draft stock. He can really propel himself to a really top 5, top 6 position. If he has a really good combine. And my negative on that is the Pitt quarterback, because he didn't test well because they were talking about his hands. He had small hands, and that equates to turnover.
You're referring to Kenny Pickett, right? That's who you're referring to.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get hit in the NFL, hey man, definitely gonna drop the ball, or having small hands, throwing the ball is an issue. So G, talk to me, man. Who you got on this list? Who can really help themselves on the combine, and who can really hurt themselves?
I actually got like 5 guys that can really help themselves, right? I think that Desmond Ridder, the quarterback of Cincinnati, I mean, he had like a 56% pass rating against top competition in college, but against the smaller competition, he was close to 65 to 70% passer rating. So Ridder has good combine numbers. He throws the ball. He shows arm strength. He runs a good 40-yard dash. Desmond Ridder could easily move himself up to possibly the 3rd quarterback off the board, maybe even the 2nd quarterback off the board, based on what happens in the draft. He's definitely going to jump Howell and the kid over there at Ole Miss University. I think Corral and Howell, he'll jump both of those guys. I think that Jordan Davis is pivotal. Combine is pivotal for him. Jordan Davis is 6'6", 340 pounds, as we know it. Jordan Davis comes in at 365, 370, and he runs a real slow 40-yard dash. He might have cost himself millions because as of right now, based on what he did playing on the field and his massive size, a lot of teams are interested in that top 20 to possibly take that kid as a draft pick. 3rd guy, Kayvon Thibodeau, man. Kayvon Thibodeau is constantly hurt. This kid's supposed to be the number 1 overall secure first pick of the draft on the hype level of a Jadeveon Clowney, a Chase Young, the Bosa boys. I don't see it. So I think Kayvon's got to have a great combine and a great pro day to secure his spot for number 1. My last 2 guys who I believe needs to show up in the combine and can actually help their stock or could hurt it real bad is Derek Stingley, cornerback out of LSU. I mean, we've seen a guy like a Jamar Chase where he sits out a year, he don't do nothing, goes to the combine, shows out, jumps to the NFL, and handles his business. So Stingley could complete the trend of like what Jamar Chase did at LSU and do the same thing and turn it up in the draft, right? And then my last guy who I think can really help himself is the wide receiver Trey Burke out of Arkansas. You know, I think that Burke kid at WR, based on his 40 time, could possibly move into the second or third wide receiver picked off the draft. You know, so I really do believe all of those guys can hurt and help. I mean, there's some guys that's injured. The Jameson Williams kid, you know, Ohio State product, Alabama product, you know, with him being still hurt, I think he drops down to like maybe the sixth receiver, you know, maybe picked off the board. But my hometown favorite, if the Steelers don't move up to draft Willis as a quarterback, Tyler Lindemann, center out of Iowa. If Davis is gone off the board and we stay at our pick, Tyler Lindemann, center out of Iowa. I think this kid's got a shot to break the bench press record at the combine. They said this kid's that strong. Well, and so if he comes in and handles his business.
It's funny you bring that up because he also could play guard. And, you know, that's one of the people that the Cowboys have on their radar because most centers fall under, they go, you know, blank. People don't really put them on the big board. But this guy is one of those who got Larry Allen type strength. You know what I'm saying? Boy's really that strong. B Dirt said, you know, Kenny Pickett is the one that he picks that could hurt himself the most in the draft, and I really think that is true. And the guy he think that can help himself the most is David Ajobo. Could really help himself.
The most. Great minds think alike, B Dirt, because he was on my list too. I just couldn't pull him in. You know, I still got that bias when it comes to them up north, that state up north. So I was like, no shine on them. But he definitely's got potential.
You know, he was asking what will Lamar Garner run in the 40 shutdown corner against second class talent. I don't think his 40 time thing is going to help him. I think that people know that he can play in space. Problem is that once again we don't know that he can guard, you know, NFL talent like that. I mean, that's the thing that's the thing that everybody's talking about with this kid is can he handle NFL coverage in the NFL? I mean, that's big.
The thing is, they're trying to say Sauce is like Jalen Ramsey. Now, Sauce is not that guy. Now, is he a sub 4.5 guy? Yeah. I mean, he's huge. He's not little. You know, he's like 6'2". He's like 6'1", 6'2". He's a tall corner, you know. But he's not Jalen Ramsey. You know,
but he was a shutdown corner, like B-Dot said, like B-Dot said, his 40 could hurt him. He was saying his 40 could hurt him, but he said he was a shutdown corner against second-class talent. I'm saying
against University of Cincinnati had two corners. So don't sleep on Kobe Bryant too, because Kobe Bryant is a dog that plays that other corner for Cincinnati. But that's just me, you know.
I mean, like I said, I agree. B-Dirt, man, I agree. I totally agree that his 40 could hurt him because if he's slower, you know, definitely with that stigma on him, like, you know, you can't guard nobody, a top tier elite talent, you know, that may hurt him more than it helps him, you know, definitely. So G, when I'm looking at this, man, I wanted to ask you before we get ready to go, who's the team that you think in this year's draft is going to find, or let's say, who's the Micah Parsons of this year's draft? The Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase of this year's draft. Who's the diamond in this draft?
I'm homering it because I see it. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. I think that Garrett Wilson can jump on a team and who's close and give them a piece that nobody can deal with. I think Garrett Wilson is just as talented as any receiver that's been picked in the last two drafts.
You
Last two
think he's a
drafts,
Jamar Chase?
I don't know. He's got Jamar Chase speed. I want to see what his 40 time is because I've been told that this kid runs a sub 4.4. So if he comes out and he runs a 4.39, 4.38, we already know from our own personal experience in dealing with the kid. The kid's got a 42-inch vertical jump. And he's probably got some of the biggest hands you'll ever see coming in the NFL at wide receiver. He's got Chris Carter-sized paws. That's why he catches everything that you see,
Let me say this, and Peter put a surprise face. I'm gonna say this. Peter, man, I've watched this kid play, Garrett, from high school, from his freshman year in high school, as a matter of fact, because he is a Austin, Texas product. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched him actually play high school basketball. I seen him dunk over somebody 6'10" before. I seen it happen. So his range, his catch radius is stupid. His catch radius is one of those to where he can pretty much catch anything that a 6'4" wide receiver could as well, right? I mean, he's one of those guys. His route running is phenomenal as well. He runs excellent routes. I mean, excellent routes. When we're talking about this guy and his route running, I mean, he can put you in a blender and make you look bad real fast. You know what I'm saying? He can make you look bad real fast.
So, Bob, let me just ask this question. What if he ends up in the Minnesota Vikings with Jordan Jefferson and Daquan Cook? I mean, Cook, the running back. Right? Because they're projecting him to go anywhere between 8 and 14. So what if Minnesota pulls the trigger at 12 and they draft Garrett Wilson?
He could actually
go Minnesota, to the Browns. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he helps. He helps Cleveland a lot. He gives them a number one receiver. But what if he goes to Minnesota? Because, see, that was the formula for Cincinnati. They had T. Higgins. They had Tyler Boyd. They had the tight end 87. They had a good running back. They needed that guy, that skills player guy that came in and changed the game. So now you add this guy to Jordan Jefferson, to Adam Thielen. They already got a good tight end. You got Cook at running back. Does that make I understand and know that Kirk Cousins is not baby boy that went to LSU. I get that. But does that put Minnesota in contention in the NFC by adding that valuable of a skills player? That's why I say Garrett Wilson is the guy that can make that type of impact on if he goes to the right team. Garrett Wilson can easily be a 1,000-yard receiver his rookie year. Easily, in the right situation.
I think he will be wherever he ends up. To be real with you, I think he will be wherever he ends up. And I co-sign on Garrett. I really do co-sign on him being a game changer in this year's draft. I was actually going to go wide receiver as well. Wide receiver, I was going to go with the center you mentioned, but I'll go wide receiver. Now, Jameis Wilson, what's his name? Jameson Williams. He was hurt, and he's going to be hurt during this. I don't think he's going to participate in the combine at all. I don't think he's well yet. But this is a person who can benefit from being pushed outside of the first round and mess around and get on a good team and show out. I mean, solidly show out.
Could you imagine him in San Francisco? Could you imagine him in San Francisco at 30? No, at 29. Kansas City at 30. The Rams at 32. Could you imagine Buffalo at 25? Could you imagine him
at Buffalo?
Buffalo at 25. Green Bay at 28. San Francisco at 29. Kansas City at 30. Or the Rams at 32. Could you imagine him on any of those teams?
Wow. If he slipped to Buffalo, just think if he slipped to Buffalo.
Right. Stefan Diggs, him. Hey, B Dirt, I didn't forget about Joe Burrow, man. I done got old. I hear you, dog. I got Joe Burrow. He's an Ohio kid, Athens. You know, we cheering for him always.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm saying, man, if you put him on a Buffalo team
yeah.
or even Kansas City,
Bu-
if he falls to
Buffalo, San
Kansas City,
Francisco, right? Buffalo, San Francisco, Kansas City, or the Rams. Any of those destination spots. Because from what I've read and saw, a lot of the mock drafts, Jameson Williams is still going to be a late first round pick, but in the receiver depth, he's moved down to number 6. They said 6 wide receivers is going in the first round. So that means Jameson Williams is the last guy off the board as far as if you're going to get a first round draft. So, Ma, you hit it out the park by saying it might be addition by subtraction because this kid's hurt, and now he gets an opportunity to land on Buffalo. Green. Could you imagine him with Green Bay with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers?
That's if they can keep Devontae. But yeah, definitely. That's. I mean, wow.
Now you put him in San Francisco, and they got this kid Trey Lance. They said he's got a super gun, right? And you already got Yook and you got Debo. So now you get him a guy that can take the top off the defense. He's running 4-3.
Don't forget about the tight end over there at San Francisco.
Oh, little, yeah. So you hit him with that hard play action. That kid makes one cut and goes. One cut to the house. Ain't nobody's running with him. So, or the Rams, if they keep Beckham.
That's the one.
That's Beckham. They keep Cooper Kupp. You already got Vance. And you got Robert Woods, and then you add this kid. Oh,
Robert Woods coming back.
Man, it wouldn't even be fair. It'd be like playing a video game. I'm with that wide receiver moves, man, for sure.
I think, and then the center, like I said, the center from Iowa, he can actually switch and play left and right guard, and to have somebody that strong, when you have a guard that's that strong and his feet that mobile, you know what I'm saying? It's a problem because you can't your interior pass rush is gonna suffer when you got somebody that strong, because you're not gonna bull rush him. You're not gonna out agility. Once he gets his hands on you, it's over.
It's Nelson. It's the same kid. It's Quentin Nelson, the kid in Indianapolis. It's him all over again. But I think he's a little bit stronger than Quentin Nelson. And one thing I like about interior offensive linemen, you got to be nasty, man. If you're not nasty, woo, and this kid has got a mean streak in him. Yeah, so I'm like, Miller, man.
B-Dirt said Miller end up in Philly. Maybe.
Miller? You talking about Garrett Wilson?
No, he said Miller will end up in Philly. Also interesting. And he said could, not will. Okay. So you said could. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But listen, man, honestly, at this point, man, I really believe that, draft picks are going to be essential because we're going to have a free agent period and a trading period that's going to go buck bonanzas. We still don't know where certain quarterbacks are going to end up and where people are going to end up being once the season starts. So for me, I'm excited about the draft. I'm excited about the combine, but I'm more excited to see where the falling pieces are going to fall. You know what I mean? Because definitely the coaching carousel was interesting. Now let's see what a player shift is going to be. But, man, I thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us, man. Definitely, if you like what you saw, make sure you like and smash that subscribe button. We're on YouTube, on Twitch. You can hang with us on Facebook as well. Once again, shout out to Tate, man. Hope you get to feeling better. Definitely, you roll with us the whole broadcast. I appreciate you. No, he said you were right, Sean. Garrett Wilson. He said Garrett Wilson. I don't think Garrett Wilson will end up in Philly. Yeah. I just don't think Garrett Wilson will end up in Philly. I don't think that Philly's going to take another wide receiver. If they did, though, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a game changer. He's a
yeah,
game changer. He's
yeah.
definitely a. I think he's better than Devontae Smith there. You know what I'm saying? I think he
Yeah.
comes off being better than him in Philly, and that gives you two valuable options out there on wideout. And Katie bought the door at that point. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But definitely, you got any final takes there, G?
Yeah, man. I just want to give a shout out to two of our hometown teams that's battling in these high school basketball playoffs right here in Lima, Ohio. Man, shout out to Quincy Simpson and the Lima Senior Spartans. Man, they beat the brake shoes off of a team the other night, man, like 100 and something to 20 something. And then shout out to them Lima Perry Commodores, who's got a big test in the district semifinals against Spencerville. So I'm looking for both of these Lima teams to make a run, possibly downstate this year. So shout out to Quincy and shout out to Clay Tucker as the coaches for Lima Perry and Lima Senior High School.
Yeah, Quincy then put a beating on it. You know, it's bad when they start asking if the faculty members want to come in and play. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
beat them down, man. They beat them down.
they beat them like they stole something. It was just embarrassing. It was embarrassing to see. But man, 11 3-pointers in one quarter of basketball, that is
Yeah,
ridiculous. That's
total
33 points.
destruction.
You don't know
Yeah.
that's he put it up in one quarter. In one
Yeah,
quarter.
hey, and shout out to Khalil Lester, 5'3" point guard for Lima Senior, top ESPN 300 basketball player. I mean, if there was a
How
second
tall is he
rendition of a
again?
5'3", if there's a second version of Muggsy Bogues, you're looking at it. So Khalil Lester got his 1,000th point in the game too. So shout out to him, man. But like I said, the Lima Senior Spartans basketball team with Coach Quincy Simpson and Lima Perry with Coach Clay Tucker, man, I'm all in for all the Lima teams handling their business and getting downstate this year.
Definitely. Thanks for rocking with us. We out of here. We'll see you guys later. Peace.